Welcome back. You're still watching Week in Focus. Now, Uganda on Thursday held her national prayers for the whole country ahead of the 2016 polls due in February. On the leveled ground, Timothy Sibasi hosts political analyst Fazil Chemeswat and MP to Queen County on whether the national prayer was necessary at this point in time. Over to you, Timothy.
Well, with me here is Honorable Fazil Chemeswat, the MP representing the people of Queen County. Thanks for joining me, Honorable.
Thank you.
Well, we would like to know from you, today you have had a national prayer breakfast. Of what relevance is this national prayer breakfast to the nation? Is the nation at war? Is it necessary?
It was relevant at this particular time, at a time when we have issues, of course, within the economy, issues to do with inflation, issues to do with devaluation of currencies and all that. But of course, we need prayers. But on the other hand, the human beings also should try and do something over that so that they can change the trends within the economy and, of course, within the East African region and Africa at large. If you look at, of course, the speech of the President, Yoweri Museveni, and the Deputy President of Kenya, of course, that hinted on the issues to do with the economy, infrastructure, issues to do with, of course, industrialization. Of course, these are things that are very critical within the East African region.
President Museveni seems to be pushing the blame on Christians, born again, whom he's saying that they have not done much in spreading the gospel of unity. They are into much yapping.
These religious institutions, instead of focusing on issues that deal with the soul alone, they should focus on issues that lead to development. And especially this question of unity is far more important, because with unity, it makes us, of course, reach somewhere in terms of achieving our objectives. Because without unity, of course, then we would not achieve the issues to do with the prosperity, the issues to do with the harmonized medical care, where our positions are reached together. We have to, of course, come together with the opposition. These religious institutions should talk to the opposition to accept the government programs. So these are some of the things that are very critical in terms of religion.
Moving on to Vice President William Ruto's statement in regard to the construction of the standard gauge railway. He's talking about that by May next year they would have covered about 500 kilometers from Mombasa. What does this mean to the Ugandan government that has not even made a serious move towards seeing visible, tangible constructions on the ground on the Ugandan side?
Yeah, it is true. It is a challenge to us. But of course, it's not a challenge as such, because the goods are supposed to be coming from Mombasa to Uganda, and we are not let aside. But again, the blame is on us leaders who have dragged the whole process down. We as members of parliament, we as members of the cabinet, we have been having different opinions, of course. We have been having a select committee to investigate the issue of standard gauge railway. We have been having quarrels in parliament. So it has delayed almost the whole process. We have not even brought the same loan to parliament for approval. But of course, I believe we are not let aside. If Uganda takes the initiative, of course, the distance from Malaba to Kampala is just nearby. The distance also from Kampala to Katuna border is just near. So we are not late at all.
So what should be done? It seems you are letting down the nation, because even you yourself, you are blaming yourself as leaders, that actually you are not kicking the ball.
You remember the issues that emerged, of course, in terms of the amount of money that was supposed to be put into the construction of standard gauge railway. Others were saying, oh, it was $8 billion US. Now others said, oh, they moved it to $11 billion US. Of which now we are not even sure of the figures aside. But we were using speculation, of course, in terms of obtaining the figures and of course, judging the government, of course, wrongly in terms of the same project. But the government has not come with its position in terms of the figures that are supposed to be used in terms of constructing the standard gauge railway. So we have been fighting ourselves without knowing that when we fight, of course, we will be derailing some of the programs arms of government, and we would also affecting, of course, the movement of goods from Mombasa to Malaba, then of course from Malaba to Kampala and then Katuna border, and of course to Kigali as well. But of course we are not late. We will catch up with the Kenyans once, of course. I know maybe by next year the government will have to do something over that, and they will have to kickstart the project, because we are not late at all.
Well, thanks, Honorable Chimaswet, for joining us on this very interactive news segment.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Now from that, the wars of the Democratic Alliance are far from over, as political analysts describe the alliance as a political gimmick. This follows the alliance's failure to front a joint presidential candidate ahead of the 2016 polls. In an interview with renowned lawyer Justus Nwajuna and UPC party president Jimmy Akena, they said TDA is baseless and has no political ambitions. Here's more.
Given the time left for presidential campaigns, experts have expressed concern about the actual motive of the Democratic Alliance. The alliance was set up with intentions of floating one opposition head to contest with President Museveni in the 2016 general elections. But however, it seems to have hit a dead end after opposition leaders failed to agree on who they want to lead them in the coming elections. The TDA leaders went as far as meeting the former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga during the weekend, seeking guidance on a way forward. However, political commentators like Council Justus Nwajuna says this sounds like comedy.
TDA flag bearer shall be selected on reaching at consensus. That means in English that every member of the TDA responsible to agree on the flag bearer must be comfortable with the decision.
He quotes the alliance protocol, which works as the constitution, which says that upon disagreement by just one member in the alliance, it disqualifies the entire exercise as null and void. To him, this is self-explanatory. Norbert Mao of the Democratic Party seems to have sidelined with some clauses in the alliance. The same implies to the embattled FDC party president, Dr. Kizza Besigye, who seems not to agree with the colleague John Patrick and Mama Mbabazi.
Colonel Besigye said that I don't agree with TDA. What does it mean? It means that at that particular point, there is no flag bearer of TDA.
UPC's Jimmy Akena says his party tentatively refused to join TDA after they were not convinced with their intentions.
When it came to members of parliament up to LC1, UPC felt and still feels TDA do not have the mechanisms, the manpower, the resources to be able to manage single candidates across the country, all through at all levels. And it was on that basis we said we're going to go ahead. We're not going to ostracize anybody, or we're not going to get into any battles, but we're going to run our agenda based on what we stand for.
Now, the Uganda Heart Institute is slowly registering stride in handling heart deformities, a condition that is becoming grave among the country's population. Reports from this cardiac center indicate that with equipment acquired in the past, the institute can now handle a number of heart deformities, including coronary heart bypass surgery. Dr. Okecho Michael, the cardiovascular surgeon, who also doubles as a consultant at the Mulago Heart Institute, explains.
We are still a third world. We are limited in many ways. Human resource. We are limited in funding. We are limited, therefore, in equipment and consumables. So there are still some things, complex conditions that we are not able to do here.
Now with that, we've come to the end of this week's edition of the Week in Focus. Enjoy the rest of our programming. My name is Daniel Lutaya. Have a blessed weekend.